Hi everyone, it's Priya here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing part 2 of the art tour that I started last week. If you haven't seen part 1, you can go back to last week's video and watch that one. In this art tour video, I'm doing a tour of all my artwork that I've done on paper, on sheets of paper that's not in a book or a sketchbook. So you'll get to see all the artwork in my portfolio files that I've created. Last week's video was part 1 where I did all the artwork or showed you all the artwork from 2017 up until 2020. And today is part 2, and I'm going to be showing you all the artwork from 2021 up until 2023, including the 3 latest artworks that I've created this year for 2024. So without any further ado, let's start this week's part 2 of the art tour. So getting into today's video, we have, this page I have showed you last week. It was the last artwork of 2020, so I've showed you that in last week's video. But getting into today's video, 2021, this was the first artwork of 2021. It was a drawing with color pencils, white color pencil on black paper of a white peacock. And then I went ahead and I did another painting. I'm not sure if this was watercolor or gouache, but I did this painting of a gala. And then I've also done another painting with watercolors, testing out another brand of this parrot. Now some of these you will recognize them from videos on my YouTube channel. And then I've also done this color pencil drawing with a background, and this was of a giraffe, and this was really fun to create a background. And then I've done a color pencil drawing of this cute puppy. This is on toned paper. And then I did this charcoal drawing of a horse. And then I've done this watercolor painting of this yellow bird. And then I've also done this painting in watercolor of this barn and this old rusted car with some trees in the background. This was really a fun piece to do. And then I did a marker drawing of a sunflower, some ink and marker drawing of a sunflower. And then I did another one of this little mini bus. I think this really came out really cute. And then again on tone paper, this was a drawing with color pencils of a flower, a tulip. And then I did another drawing with color pencils on toned paper, this time blue paper. This is of an octopus with color pencils. This was also a lot of fun to create. And then I did a drawing of a cheetah with charcoal. This was really fun to do. And then I did another drawing with color pencils on toned paper. This is green tone paper, and I did a rose. It really came out really nice. Then again on some gray tone paper, I did a color pencil drawing of a wolf. And then I did this pastel drawing with some pastel pencils of a bird. And then I also did this color pencil drawing of this Alsatian. I really like how this one turned out. His eyes just look really, really realistic. He looks really realistic. And then I just did this loose watercolor painting of a landscape. And this was a drawing of a candle with color pencil with a little candlestick holder and with a little flame, and it was on black paper. So it's color pencil on black paper. Really enjoyed her doing this one and creating the glass candlestick holder. Okay, and that brings us to the end of the first file. Okay, so going into the second file for this video. This was starting off in 2021. This was a Halloween drawing that I did with markers on marker paper for Halloween 2021. And then this was a drawing of a leopard that I did on toned paper. And then we're moving into 2022's drawings. This was my first drawing for 2022, color pencil on black paper of a lion. And then this is when I started getting into my art journaling, and I started using the little ink pads with the sponges to apply the ink. I did this little distressed look, and I used stamps and ink pads to apply the words or the alphabets for these words. And then I drew all of these different elements with a sepia colored fine liner, and then I just colored everything in. I really enjoyed creating this, and that's when my art journaling journey began. Then I've got this drawing with color pencil that I did as well. And then I was testing out different marker papers. This is a video on my YouTube channel. So I started off with a autumn leaf. I did a sea turtle. I did a fish and an eye and a rose. Then I also did this watercolor painting of this butterfly and these leaves and this branch. And then I also did this watercolor painting of some pink flowers. Very simple painting. Then I did this little quick painting of a island with some palm trees. And then I did this. I was testing out a new watercolor set of paints, and this butterfly illustration came out of that. And then I did this illustration as well of some flowers. And then I did this watercolor illustration. I was trying out different watercolor brands, and this was another illustration I did with watercolors of this palm tree and this bright colors for a sunset. And then I also did this illustration or painting with watercolors of just this underwater scene and then this landscape on top. A very simple loose painting. I have the drawing or painting, watercolor painting of a kingfisher. And then over here I've got some drawings with the fine liners of different mushrooms. I really had fun drawing mushrooms. I really love drawing mushrooms, so this is a lot of fun. And then I created this painting. This is when I started using mixed media paper, or paper that I can use with acrylic paints, where I don't have to gesso the paper or prepare the paper. This was done entirely with acrylics, and it is a video on my YouTube channel. And I really love this one because I like how it turned out, and I enjoy the whole feeling of creating and painting on paper. And I love creating all the different textures of the wooden table, of the coffee beans, the cork, of the bottle, the glass jar, the shine, the coffee grinder, the brass part to create the brass texture of the coffee grinder, the rope that's tied around the neck of the jar that the flowers are in to create the texture of that, the background texture to paint in the flowers and the highlights. I really enjoyed this entire process. So if you'd like to see how I created all these different textures, I explained that more detailed in my video where I did this painting. Then I also did another drawing of a peacock with color pencil. And then I was doing a lot of pastel drawings. So I did this with soft pastels of a swan. And then I used some oil pastels to create this scene. Just bear in mind that if you do use oil pastels, and you do use a plastic pocket to put it in, you are going to get this warping of the paper or the plastic that happens with it, with oil pastels. Then I also did a painting with water-soluble oil pastels of this tree. And then I also did this painting of the sunset with the silhouette of a tree with pastels as well. Then I did a painting with gouache for Halloween 2022, just a simple painting. And then I've done this drawing with this I believe was the Montmartre colored charcoal pencils. I did this drawing of this hawk. And then this was my own coloring page that I created, and I just used Inktense pencils to create or to color it in. And that takes us to the beginning of 2023. Now, this was the first drawing that I did, or painting that I did, or drawing. This was a drawing I did in 2023 of a bee with color pencils. So it's just a simple drawing that I did to start the year off. Then I did this color pencil drawing of a parrot. I really enjoyed drawing and painting parrots, so this was another drawing that I did with color pencils. And then so this was an in-person watercolor workshop that I held, and this was the main illustration that we were working on, but I also created 2 other variations of it as well for the workshop. And then this was another in-person watercolor workshop that I hosted and presented This one I really enjoyed. It was of a bird and some flowers. These workshops were so much of fun, interacting with all these creative people. It was a lot of fun. And then I've done, this was also another workshop. This was with watercolors as well, of a rabbit. And then I've got this watercolor piece, which I just did for fun. I was just playing around with my watercolors, and I painted this watercolor peacock, and I wanted it to look very watercolor-like and have that kind of texture and look to it, and have that messy, loose look to it. So that was what I came up with. And then I also did this wreath of flowers and leaves and foliage with watercolors as well. So that brings us to the end of the second file. Now in the final file, which is not complete, but it goes into 2024. Starting off, this was still 2023. This was a drawing or painting with watercolors that I did of some hibiscus flowers. I really love these flowers, and it was a lot of fun to paint these with watercolors. Then I did these watercolor mushrooms. Some of these paintings and drawings are videos on my Patreon. You will find the link in the description box below. I go more in depth in those videos, those exclusive videos for Patreon, where I show you how to paint these in detail. And then I've got another watercolor drawing I did of some plants and flowers as well. This was a very watercolor look I wanted. And then these were some simple watercolor flowers that I painted. And then I was using some gouache on black paper, just creating this little more of a cartoon effect, a fantasy look of a tree and some magical mushrooms. And then I also did this watercolor flower. And I used some metallic watercolors on black paper as well for this flower drawing, simple flower drawing. And then here I used some gold acrylic paint on black paper. I was just playing around with the paint on black paper to see how it looks. And then this was again some metallic watercolors on black paper. And then this was a drawing that I did, or illustration I did, of different birds using markers. So these were entirely drawn with markers, but no line work, just the markers themselves. I really had fun with this one. And then that brings us to the end of 2023 and the start of 2024. These were the illustrations I did this year so far. This was a color pencil drawing, also my YouTube channel, of a macaw parrot. This was with color pencils. And then I did this drawing with color pencils as well, of a different type of macaw parrot, different colors. And then the final piece I did so far for this file for this year is this color pencil piece. These are the videos, this one and the red macaw parrot are videos on my YouTube channel. This was a video also that I really enjoyed making. It was a lot of fun filming and making that video. I was inspired by nature when I painted this one, and I wanted it to be very nature themed. So this was done with color pencils, but I used the Derwent drawing color pencils for this. And I think this is one of my favorites this year. And that brings us to the end of the tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going through all my art. If you haven't seen part 1, go back to last week's video and watch it. It was really fun going through all of the artwork. I've enjoyed it, and it really shows me how much I've grown and how much of different things I've tried. And I hope that it sparks some inspiration for you, and that it sparked your creativity in wanting to create, because it has sparked my inspiration in wanting to create. So I hope it's done the same for you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it inspired you. If it has, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. Also, you can leave your comments down below. I mentioned it in my previous video in part 1 that you're going to see my real old artwork and my practice artwork when I was teaching myself how to draw. If you want to see all that old artwork and my artwork from high school, comment down below and let me know. Then I can, maybe if you want to see it, I can do a future video for you. So if you'd like to see more art videos like this, and art tour videos, sketchbook tour videos, or other art inspirational videos that I put up on my channel, then you could consider subscribing. And I guess that's it for this one. Till the next one. Bye.